So regular listeners will be more than aware of my feelings towards the Transformers saga and Michael Bay films in general. He basically is, well, my least favourite director in the world, ever, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Horrible, cynical man. But, there was... What was it called?
You're being the cynical man here.
No,
Michael Bay.
We're both quite... No, I don't know.
Opposites.
I wouldn't describe myself as cynical anyway. But Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, which came out a couple of years ago, even Michael and Shia LaBeouf, but Michael, most importantly, recently said in an interview with a well-known film magazine, when I look back at it, it was complete crap. The writer's strike was coming hard and fast. It was just terrible. He said it was a bullshit way to make a movie. Do you know what I'm saying? Quote Michael Bay, okay? So maybe you think that...
he's gone back to the drawing board.
Yeah, maybe he's taken all the criticism on board. And so what this film basically is a $200 million apology to the fans that were let down by the second one being unbelievably dreadful. And it was racist, it was clunky, it was just all action, no substance, completely baggy, overlong, misogynistic,
expensive.
That's just a few of the things that are wrong with it. So let's see how many of them he's managed to eradicate from this version. So we have only a few returning cast members. Megan Fox has been relieved of her sort of pornographic duties.
Yeah, and relieved in the most strongest sort of way.
Yeah, well, she was sacked, basically, for calling Michael Bay Hitler, which Steven Spielberg objected to. Steven Spielberg is executive producer on
Megan,
this
sort of makes me attracted to her even more. But
yeah, and she has been replaced by Rosie Huntington Whiteley, who, this is her first film. She is an underwear model.
Yeah.
Who's going out with Jason Statham.
That's it.
She's never done any acting before. So a brave choice for Michael Bay. Obviously he spotted some talent in her.
Yeah.
In her acting. Well, maybe not. And then Tyrese Gibson, who plays Epps, who was in the last one. And he pops up in this one completely out of nowhere. But anyway, and so a few other people return. A lot of people that should, to be honest, know better and should be thoroughly ashamed of being in this film, in the form of John Turturro and Frances McDormand, two great actors. And so basically we start the film a few years on, where we actually start with a little voiceover from Optimus Prime.
As you always do, I think you do in everyone.
Yeah, he talks about the little spaceship, where he comes from and stuff. And we get, as you do with all 3Ds, movies that come out now, you start with an obligatory scene of a camera zooming in to a spaceship or something with lots of things that fly at you, because then they don't have to worry about the 3D after that. So we get that, and then we go back to some grainy black and white footage of 1969 Earth, and we get President Kennedy, and he's CGI'd basically. So anyone who's played the most recent Call of Duty game, he basically looks exactly like he does on that. And the way that they've got rid of the really crappy CGI is to put it in a sort of like 8mm grainy film. But it's laughable. I laughed out loud at how stupid it looks.
Yeah.
And so we get the Buzz Aldrin and all that lot, and Neil Armstrong going up to the moon. When they get to the moon, they're like, oh, we're going to lose contact with Apollo 11 now as the astronauts walk over to the darker side of the moon. And they walk over the edge, the hill, where everything's black on the other side. I'm sure that's what it's like.
Yeah.
And they get, this is Commander Grumpy General, it's time, mission Dark Side of the Moon, go, go, go. And they get their little top secret book out of one of those silver foil packets that look like a Pop-Tart.
Do they discard the silver foil packet on the moon?
You don't see that bit. But anyway, they walk, and about 500 meters into the dark side of the moon, there's a huge robot spaceship, okay? And in this robot spaceship, there's something, and we go, ooh, what's that? So fast forward 30 years on, or whatever, 40 years on, Shia LaBeouf, and he basically is one of the worst actors in Hollywood.
You've always said that.
Despite being one of the best paid. And he absolutely ruined... I didn't have as big a problem with Indiana Jones 4 as everyone else, but he ruined that single-handedly. He's terrible in all the other Transformers ones. He also said that he hated the second one and it was complete rubbish and they made loads of mistakes. And he has been dumped by Megan Fox, and he's now going out with this Rosie, despite the fact that he looks like a pug, and she's obviously one of the most attractive people in the world, and she's about sort of 19, and we're introduced to her in true Michael Bay style by a camera that a pursuing camera of what I can only describe up her skirt, looking up her bum. Right. That follows her down the stairs, and that's just one of the horrible, lecherous. Oh dear. Okay. So anyway, the basic storyline is that she came to America working for the British Embassy.
Right, is she British?
She's British. Yeah, she is British in real life. She's from Devon. Yeah. Also, she has a sort of weird transatlantic thing because she's obviously been an adjunct provocateur model since she was 10. Yeah. She looks like she's never had a decent.
So she's a bit confused.
Yeah, she's never had a decent meal in her life. Yeah. And so she worked for the British Embassy, and you see this flashback of her in the British at the White House, where Sheila Burf is there getting a medal for being so brave at fighting the Transformers, and from Barack Obama as well. He's in it. Is he? It's not actually him. It's a lookalike, really bad lookalike as well. And she sees her across the room, and the way that they're obviously like, oh, how are we going to make this 19-year-old underwear model look like she could be a diplomat?
Glasses.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's a good trick, that.
Yeah, tie her hair back, give her some glasses. And so they sort of have this love at first sight. And I'll just say from the off that Rosie Huntington-Whiteley is the worst actress I've ever seen in a film, ever.